Now we just about got our old Chevelle ready to start spraying on some color, and I sure am glad all that blocking is just about to end. Now we've got one fender left to do, so I thought we'd slow down and give you a few tips on sanding. And if you're around this stuff long enough, well, you'll hear the term hand sanding, but there is the right and wrong way to do it. First thing you want to do is take a piece of sandpaper and fold it into thirds. We're going to slap on a little bit of guide coat to show you what we're talking about. Next, when you go to sand, you want to use the meat of your hand, not your fingertips, and here's why. When you combine the irregular shape of your fingers and the pressure from them, you're going to be sanding grooves into the surface. If you do this over the entire panel, you're going to have a mess on your hands, but you can fix it. It just requires a sanding block and some more guide coat. Simply recoat the panel and sand in a cross pattern. You will see the guide coat being sanded off the surface before the grooves. Then just keep sanding until they both go away. Shouldn't take a bunch of effort, but it all depends on the depth of those grooves. It's usually a better idea to use a sanding block on the bigger, flatter surfaces, but there are the occasion that you won't be able to use a block, kind of like up here on the top. So this is how you'd want to do it. Using the bigger part of your hand, apply nice even pressure. You will want to sand in a back and forth pattern with long, straight strokes. You don't want to sand in a circular manner. If you do, it can cause sand scratches and a wavy surface that will be seen once painted. It's also a good idea to sand in the direction of the body lines for best results. Doing sanding like this is pretty common, especially with odd shapes like the top of this fender. And whenever you do it correctly, there's nothing wrong with it. Another tip for you, this black stuff that we're spraying on the side of this fender is called guide coat. It's not paint, and this is why you'd want to use that type of thing. I'm going to start sanding on this side that I sprayed the guide coat on first, then go over to this side, and you'll see the difference in the two. Now if you look here on the bottom of the block, all the powder is all crumbly. When I sand this side, that's not going to be it at all. Now if you notice, this stuff is starting to cake up just a bit, and that's because it's paint, not that guide coat. Well, I get the joy of finish sanding this fender, but it's okay because it's the one last panel, and then we get to paint that Chevelle. I'm kind of excited.